next one is the grid chamber. So why this grid chamber is used? For what reason this grid chamber is being used? First, we will see one by one. So this is what the inlet, the wastewater will be moving out from inside this grid chamber. Okay. So what is the main, like this grid chamber? So this is what the chamber which is being used to remove the sludge, whatever the sludge which is there in the wastewater. So that removing that sludge, this grid chambers will be used. Okay, so this is what it is a device. So it is for the necessary for the whatever the removal is there, the sludge whatever. So to remove that, this chamber is being used. So this is what this includes the sands and other heavy materials will be, which is there in the inert organic. So whatever the heavy matter which has been presented in the water, sand particles, metal fragments, racks, all this can be removed in this chamber. So if it is whatever it is there, it has been not removed in the preliminary treatment and the grit in the preliminary settlement tanks, that can cause the abnormal abrasive action. Okay. So consider this is the beaker, means in this beaker you filled with the water and the some of the small stone means, then if you starts to shake this beaker, so this will get wear and tear, it will get damaged, the surface of the beaker will get damaged. Same here also, it is been applied. So abrasive, due to the abrasive action, wear and tear on the whatever the equipment will be there, that get damaged. Okay, so sludge pumps and it can clog by the decomposition, can accumulate in the sludge holding the tanks and the digesters. Therefore, the grit removal is necessary to protect the moving mechanical equipment and the pump element from the abrasion. So what is this grit removal devices? So that depends upon the difference in the specific gravity between the organic and inorganic solids in their suspensions. So here this you can see here, the water is allowed to move inside. Here the depth designed depth of the water, that is the 0.9 to 1.2 meter, it has been maintained. So here in the bottom, so where the some pipe for the removal of the silts that can be removed, so it has in the depth of around 0.5 meter. So there inside there is a one hole will be there. Okay, where there is the grids, whatever the grids are there, that is the some pipe for the silts that can be removed from there. So that is what usually for the grid storage. So whatever the next, after storing the grids here, sludge here, then the water will flow in the control weirs. So this is what usually cross section, the typical plan. Usually the plan, if you see from the top, it looks like this. Water will flow like this. So this is what the dividing wall, this is the chamber 1 and chamber 2. This is the length of the tank. This is the width of the tank. After the settling, the water will be flows out way through the weir. Slits will be removing it in this direction. So this is what the typical. There is two types of the grid chambers. One is the mechanically cleaned. One is the grid which one is the mechanically cleaned and manually cleaned. So mechanically cleaned grid chambers are being provided with the mechanical equipment for the collection and the washing of the grid chambers. So that is being operated either by continuous or it is operated intermittent, means today and day after tomorrow. Tomorrow is not been operated like that. So on the basis of intermittent basis, it has been operated. Manually operated grid chambers that should have sufficient capacity to storage of the grids between the intervals of the cleaning. So aerated grid chambers and aerated grid chambers, that is in the especially it is in the form of the grid chambers. So that is in the consisting of the standard spiral flow that has been aerated tank which has been provided for the air diffusion tubes placed at the ends of the 0.5 to 1 meter from the bottom. The whatever the heavier grit particles with there that will be settling at the velocity to the floor, where the lighter organic particles whatever it will be remains, that will be suspension and carried away in the spiral motion due to the diffusion air and the eventually which has been carried out in the tanks. So this is what the typically it looks like. The aerated grid chambers, I will show you. This is what the typical aerated grid chambers. So whatever the helical liquid that is the flowing pattern, it will flow in the spiral pattern in the aerated grid chamber. So you can see here the influent will be in the top, influent. You can see here inlet and or influent, it will be the water which allowed to move like this. So it will be moving with the helically. So liquid will be flowing in the helical pattern. So there will be air diffusion will be there. That where it has been assembled. So here the whatever the trajectory of the grit particle is in this direction. So there will be an outlet outlet where will also be there. So here the water will be moved away. So that is what the typically liquid which has been flowed pattern. So this is what it looks planned. So if you see the cross section, it looks like typical through the two chamber aerated grid chamber whatever it is there. So that is what this section. So swing diffusion will, this is the swing diffuser assembly. So diffuser tube, it will be here. So upper hanger pipes, it will be this one, and the lower hanger pipe will be this one. So they where the water will be flowing here and here through where it will moves out. So this is what the typically chamber of the aerated grid chamber.